This video is for deviant artists or for those who have seen my gallery. Otherwise, you will have no freaking clue about what I'm talking about. Hi there. I noticed one comment that was asking about the story about my comic book characters, and I think that was asked by a username Tlyken or Tlyken. I don't know how you say your name. Sorry if I didn't pronounce it right. Yeah, these characters are from a comic book I really am working on. But in order to explain the story, I'd actually have to go back, to the 8th grade, because I did a comic book back then, which I'll show you guys in a sec, but they were big, and what I mean by big is I mean thick. They are huge. So I'm going to show you the first one. Alright, so this is the first one. As you can see by the title, it's called Ayla vs. Predator, and as you can see from the title, from the page art, that's pretty much what the story implies. When I first did this comic, it was originally only maybe 25 pages long. But for absolutely no reason, it grew into an 83-page comic. Don't ask me why. The characters are just horrible. In fact, when I drew people, I had to look at the old Star Wars Clone Wars because I had no idea on how to draw a human being. There was only a couple of good pictures, but that was because I put a lot of hard work into trying to make one good image, when really I probably should have just worked on everything else. The only good picture I actually did in here was a picture that I had seen of Aayla Secura and just did a sexy photo. And it didn't take that long. In fact, I didn't even have to trace it. I just looked at it and went back and started drawing it. But it took so long to do. It was really bad, even for the time. I mean, I got so much into this, and I don't know if you can see from right here, but you'll notice a play and a stop. I don't know if you can see the little stop there. And what that was I actually got so much into this comic that I actually recorded sounds and stuff, almost making it look like a movie. Now, this is when I was in the 8th grade, I remind you, and I wanted to do something else besides homework and playing video games. So I just came up with the idea, and I think originally I came up with it after I watched like Alien vs. Predator and then like a million other sci-fi movies for when I went home. But this is a different comic book all on its own, and it's not exactly tied in with the one I'm currently working on, and that one I'll talk about right now. Oh, man, that was pretty bad. Now, I know a lot of people like to be, don't be so hard on yourself. It was your first time doing a big comic, or this is when you first started doing drawing like this, and trying to be good. Well, yeah, that may be true, but when I look back at it now, it is not that great. And at the time, I'd never heard of DeviantArt, so I thought at that time, I thought it was like the best thing ever, because there was no one there to criticize it or, stuff like that. But in the end, I was legitimately happy with what the outcome was of the comic, even though it had the most confusing story I've ever seen. So now let's talk about the second one. Alright, this is the second one, and as you can see from the title, it's part 1 of 2. I think I put that in kind of late. As you can see, in fact, it is not AVP, but Predator. Yeah, I can't come up with original titles. I suck. Just by looking at the cover, you can actually see, wow, it's actually gotten better from the first one. This will wear off in a minute when you see the actual story. And what's funny is when you do cover art for a comic, normally what you see in it you would expect to see in the actual comic. This guy right here only came out for a brief part in the comic, and I mean brief as in 3 freaking panels. I thought I was going to get more out of him, but I already drew the cover and then started drawing him for that one scene. So it's kind of a ripoff. When it comes to the length of it, this is actually slightly longer than the original, because it is 86 pages long, and I had started this a few months after I had done the first one. Now, I did, like the first one, do these really big photos of different scenes, and this is one of them right here. Just weird stuff. In fact, one of the better ones I had done for the big stuff was this Godzilla I did. In the first one, I actually drew a flying version of Godzilla with wings. This one just has horns and a flame decal. Don't ask why. And this story had only like one Digimon, I think, in it. But this is actually, when I did this is actually during the time I found out about DeviantArt and started looking around and was starting to get into Anthro. And, yeah, you can actually see that. I don't know if you can notice some of the Anthro in here. And I think I had seen other people's style, and I actually liked what they did. But I think there was one artist I enjoyed so much that I actually used their stuff in the comic because I really never thought I would actually post it anywhere, because I never had actually thought about joining DeviantArt at the time. And that was Jodymist. That was username Jodymist. And I read all their comics and I really liked it. But it was so confusing. How do you get, characters from the 70s, into the present day? And the only way I could solve that problem was with a time machine. But then I thought, where the hell are they going to get a time machine in the 70s? So that just screwed up the story even more. This story is even almost, I think, even more jacked up than the first one that I did. It's more confusing. And this was like the very first of the girl. I think I named her Cassandra. And as you can see, this is the first picture of the monster I've ever done. One of the first, anyway. And it was funny because after I had finished it, when Cloverfield came out, I actually thought they stole my idea. I think they may have bugged my room or something, or saw me draw this, or show it to somebody. But, I don't think the Cloverfield monster had a 4-foot jaw with, 5 tentacles shooting out with razor-sharp teeth, dragging you to your bloody doom. And I think even Ayla Secura actually looks better in this one. Let's see if I could find a photo. Here it is. Slightly better, and I say slightly because I still like it. It was okay. And, it's alright. So this was the second one. Alright, so that was the second one. Now, with the third one, I actually wrote down what the storyline was, so that way I wouldn't have the most jacked up storyline ever compared to the first and the second one. So I had written it down. I don't have the paper with me, but thought I brought it down. What the story basically consists of is the main character, and this is so embarrassing for me to say, but the main character is actually me. But it's, people come up with main characters usually based off themselves or someone they know. So I never really saw a problem. Plus, I never thought I would be posting any of it, so that was another reason why I did it. But yeah, what the story consists of is really just a villain story. This is one bad guy, and all he's going to do is take over the Earth for the Empire to get a rare material that will make them completely invulnerable to conquer other universes. It's a really complicated story, but that's just the bottom line. That's the gist of it. It is just about an evil villain who is not just out to destroy everything and everybody just to get his hands on a rare material that will make everything, that will literally make his army immortal. So that's it. I hope this was actually kind of helpful. So, catch you later. I'd like to take a moment to personally thank Heartogram Fox 777, A-Shack, and Wolf in a Hat for the watch and faves. Thank you guys.